It was a bright Monday morning at Green Valley School. In the economics class, the students were chatting excitedly as they waited for their favorite teacher, Professor Mira, to begin the lesson. Professor Mira walked in with her usual smile. She clapped her hands once and said, "All right, young economists. Today, we're going to learn about something very important in economics, the mean." One student, Rahul, looked puzzled. "Isn't mean just the average? How is it useful in economics?" "Excellent question," said Professor Mira. "Yes, mean is the average. In economics, we often use it to understand things like average income, average production, or average spending." She walked to the board and wrote, "Mean average equals sum of all observations, divided by number of observations." Then she said, "Let me tell you a story. In the village of Ekanpur, 5 families earned different amounts of money in 1 month. Their incomes, in rupees, were: Family A, 12,000; Family B, 15,000; Family C, 13,000; Family D, 10,000; Family E, 20,000 each. Professor Mira turned to the class. "Now, suppose the government wants to know the average income of a family in Ekanpur. How do we find it?" The class replied, "By calculating the mean." She guided them through the calculation. Step 1. Add all the incomes: 12,000 plus 15,000 plus 13,000 plus 10,000 plus 20,000 is equal to 70,000. Step 2. Count the number of families. There are 5 families. Step 3. Use the formula mean equals 70,000 divided by 5 is equal to 14,000. So, said Professor Mira, the average income of a family in Ekanpur is 14,000 rupees. This helps us understand how well off the village is on average. Even though some families earn more or less, the mean gives a central value. The students nodded in understanding. "But wait," said Anaya. "What if one family earned a lot more than the others? Wouldn't that affect the mean?" "Great thinking, Anaya," said Professor Mira. Yes, the mean can be influenced by extreme values. That's why economists also look at other measures like the median or mode. But the mean is still one of the most common and useful tools in economics. In a bright, bustling classroom of St. Aidan's Academy, Mrs. Taylor, an enthusiastic economics teacher, stood at the blackboard ready to impart a critical statistical concept to her students. Today, they were tackling the topic of the median. "Right, class," she began, flicking a piece of chalk between her fingers. "How many of you know what a median is?" A few hands shot up, but others remained hesitantly by students' sides. Seeing their uncertain expressions, Mrs. Taylor decided to turn the lesson into a story. "Imagine, if you will, that you're all going on a treasure hunt," she said. The class perked up, eyes bright with intrigue. "Now, to find the treasure, you need to arrange yourself in a line based on your pocket money. The one who stands right in the middle of this line will get a clue about where the treasure is hidden." An excited murmur rippled through the classroom. "But here's the twist," Mrs. Taylor continued with a smile. "If there's an even number of you, the treasure clue isn't given to a single person, but shared equally between the 2 who are in the center." She watched as the students began to visualize this idea. "This is essentially what the median does," Mrs. Taylor explained. "It's the middle value of a dataset when it's ordered from the smallest to the largest number. And if the dataset has an even number of observations, then the median is the average of the 2 central numbers." To reinforce the lesson, she drew a number set on the board: 5, 12, 18, 23, 29. "Class, help me find the median. Arrange these numbers and pick the middle one." The students eagerly worked through the numbers, counting along the line they had made up earlier. "It's 18, Mrs. Taylor," Sam shouted from the back. "Excellent." Mrs. Taylor clapped her hands in delight. "Now let's try with 6 numbers: 4, 9, 15, 17, 21, 30. What would be the median, then?" Confident this time, the students quickly arranged the numbers. They picked the 2 in the center, 15 and 17. The median is the average, 16, Lila said, her forehead creased in concentration. Perfect. Mrs. Taylor nodded. Always remember, the median is significant in economics as it helps to understand the real value by cutting off extreme values that might skew the average. Those words seemed to unlock a secret door. With newfound understanding, the students left the room, ready to tackle the economic world beyond the classroom doors with their new knowledge of the median. And as Mrs. Taylor collected her chalk and notes, she hoped that perhaps, years from now, this lesson might still shine as brightly in their memories as the treasures in any adventurous story.